So yeah.
And I keep insisting too, like, don't think academics are some sacred class that are somehow above corruption and self-interest. It's the same thing with, I was going to say some politicians, but especially Democrats. People have this idea like, oh, these people have power. These people are these institutions. Somehow they abandon self-interest and they're doing this to serve other people and all this. But I haven't seen a single thing to convince me that these people don't have self-interest as well. Well, I'll get into this more in the next section, but look at how much academics get paid in some cases. Look at the prestige they get. Look how little time they spend actually working. And then, of course, politicians, that's a whole separate conversation. Why is Nancy Pelosi worth $20 million on a six-figure salary? Why does Bernie own multiple homes? All this. And again, it's like, if you're in that position, it's very tempting. It's like, who's to say we would? I'm not arguing like I wouldn't do the same thing. But again, it's like this idea that somehow they abandon self-interest and just care about other people. I haven't seen a single thing to convince me of that. And it just keeps coming back to, oh, we'll get better people. We'll get better people. And yeah, you might get that one out of every few million people. Like, for example, there was a woman from my area who won millions in the lottery and she actually donated it all to charity. So occasionally there are people like that, but I don't see how that's the majority of people. And if anything, they go the opposite direction.
And I'm not even stating that self-interest is a negative thing. Self-interest is a positive thing. It's the more people that are actually self-interested, that means you have an identity yourself. You try to do what's best for you. And it has been shown that it is best for us to be more collaborative, and to be of more use to other people, to coexist. That is better than just completely saying, I'm going to go around and start punching people in the face. What is best for you? Just think about it in general. That's a simple one. Is it better for you to walk around and just punch random people in the face? Or is it better for you to walk around and wave and smile to random people? I think in one of those, like, maybe it's better to do none for random people. But if you're told to pick one between the others, in general, being more liked, being more useful. And this is the thing: there's nothing wrong with something being useful. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be useful to other people. There's nothing wrong with valuing people that are useful to you. And you see that, and that is the state of nature. Nature is selfish. It cares about the self. So you start from the self, you start from the individual, and then you build up stronger actual environments because you understand that person is going to do something in their self-interest, and it's in that person's self-interest to have as many people around them who are also interested in their own safety and the collective safety of the group, and we're in things together. We decided we're going to come and do this thing together, have this conversation together, make this definition thing together, because it's in our self-interest that you out there better understand what we're talking about, because we find there's going to be benefit both from you listening to more of our videos and also for the world in general. It does come from a point of self-interest.
Well, I was thinking a lot lately of Obama with all the stuff he used to say about, like, oh, there will be time for them to make profits. Now is not that time. Okay, what did he buy? A $20-something million home on Martha's Vineyard? and it's like, and look, and like I said, I mean, if people were willing to pay thousands of dollars to hear me speak, trust me, I'd be out there doing it. I'm not knocking him for doing that. It's just, don't give me these lectures on we need to put our self-interest aside and care about other people. Because look, if he really believed that deep down, he'd be donating probably most of his salary to charity or something. He wouldn't be living the high life. So again, I don't knock him for taking advantage of his prestige and reputation, but then don't give me lectures on how important it is to self-sacrifice, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And that's one of my things I think is appealing about Trump. He just comes out and says, like, yeah, wealthy, I like these things. This is how I live. And I think a lot of people see that and they find it more genuine to what happens in their actual lives.
Yeah.
And when it goes to the actual why would he actually run, when he's mentioned that, he's lost billions, relatively technically, yes, from his general perception, he's not taking in a salary, so he could be not president and earning a lot more money, and his Trump name wouldn't be as garbage as it is in the general sphere of society, of the social sphere. So I think when he says that, he does have other interests. There's other interests that I think are there where he's like, okay, is it better for Trump if the United States of America is a more successful country? I think it is. And I think that's enough self-interest for him being like, I really, really like this country. And now, how does he define that country? How do you define that country? Those are things that come into the actual equation about this whole thing. So with that, do you think we should get into the reading of the actual things now?
Well, I was going to just say two things. So regarding Trump, one point that I think it was Stefan Molyneux made, which really stuck with me, is like, look, he, as you just said, he's been losing money. He knew the media would drag him all this. Would he do all of this unless he truly believed in the country and wanted to make a difference? Yeah, part of it is for his own ego. I realize that, but it's like he didn't need the money. He didn't need the prestige. It's like, why else would he be doing this? Why else would he donate his salary? Why else would he be willing to take losses? All that. Again, it's like whatever you think of Trump, at least ask those questions. I think that's fair.
And
So
if it's his ego, sorry, if it's his ego, what would be better for his ego? The country failing while he's there or after he leaves, or the country doing better? Like,
yeah.
Thinking about okay.
So the questions we're going to get into the 7 big economic insights, but first I'll start. I would say ask these questions here. What incentives do the rules create? Who bears the costs of people's actions and choices? Who benefits, and why are the rules the way they are? So think about that again. Not even just this discussion, but just in general, whether it's politics, economics, day-to-day life. I think those are valid questions people should be asking.
Thank you for listening. This has been a clip from an actual longer recording that I'll try to leave a link to on the screen or somewhere around here where you're listening to this.
Presidents. 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 Presidents.
Peasants.
Okay. Okay.